Well, I debated on whether or not I was going to do this video because the assembly of the reel did not go so well. And I had a couple blunders. And, look, I've been mechanicking for 45 years, 40, well, since I was a kid, but professionally, over 40 years, just over 40 years. And I've worked on everything from RC car nitro engines, little RC hobby engines, all the way up to D9 dozers. I've worked on everything, and everything's a challenge. It doesn't always go easy, and I've worked on so much different stuff that sometimes I forget how some things go back together. But this little guy here, the assembly of it, stumbled me a couple of times, and I debated whether or not I was going to post the video, but I thought, you know what, if my blunders will help somebody else, then that's what this channel's about. I don't edit what I do, I just do it. And so what you're going to see with the second half, the first half video is a tear down. It goes simple, and I waited a couple of days before I put the reel back together. Life gets in the way. I came back to do it, and I forgot a couple of things and just had a couple of blunders, but I wanted y'all to see what I went through to make it work. And the reel works awesome. It's not quite as smooth as I want it to be, but a few casts will fix that. And anyway, enjoy the video. Please, like the video and subscribe to my channel, and you'll get to laugh with me some more, not at me. This is John, Vintage Fisherman. Thanks for watching. Hello, it's John, Vintage Fisherman. I wasn't going to do a video on this reel. This is a reel I've used for bass. I caught my biggest bass on this reel, as a matter of fact. And because I did one the other day that's real similar, a little bit different looking brake knob on it, release. The other one I did has a lever. This one's got a button. But I decided, hey, I'll record it, and if I like the way it turns out, I will, I'll put it up. So here we go. We're gonna pull the spool out of it. I'm going to upgrade the bearings in it. And first thing I'm gonna do is this is brand new line. I just re-spooled this reel, so we're gonna put some tape on it. This tape's awful damn wide for this spool, but I think I can make it work. I like to spin these things. I'll go buy them on the shelf and grab them off shelf. They're my fidget spinners. This is a fidget spinner for those guys of us guys that grew up a long time ago. And so that's what we do. We play with our little fishing reels. Let's take the spool apart. I almost lost that one. That one almost went for a sail on me. It's got a cover that goes in there. It's pretty well oiled up. Maybe I did go through this one not too long ago. I'll find out when I I've got so many reels, folks, and I alternate using them, so they all get used at some point. I may only take it out one time a year, and I don't fish with my bass stuff that much anymore because I don't really I don't have a bass boat. So if I do go bass fishing, I'm riding with somebody else. But I do enjoy them. They're right on the. So this one's like another one I had where it had shims on both sides. So I'm going to keep the sides together here because I know this side's got a shim under it. It's a wavy wash, so it had the one. And there's the whole spool assembly. I don't need to clean the spool. I had the line off of it. I made sure it was clean. I really like this old reel. I've caught a lot of beautiful bass on this reel, but like I said, my largest largemouth was on this reel back in, I want to say it was 97, 98. I had a little aluminum bass boat. Pulled up on a point. I just bought this reel. I just bought this reel at a local tackle shop. I bought it used. I didn't pay much for it. It's a left-hander. It was one of my. It was my first. This is my first. I just remembered it. My first Ambassador. Before I bought my first cans, I bought this reel, and this is the one that started my love for the Ambassadors right here. This is the one. And whoops, I got to take that off. And so the first time I took it out fishing, the very first time, I pulled up on a point. There was a couple other fishermen there on their boat. And they were around the other side of the point. I had a jig and pig tied on this rod reel. I've always fished this reel on a Fenwick Eagle GLC. Love that rod. It's a 6 foot. I always like shorter. I fish shorter rods than most people, you know. And okay, so there's the bear. I'm gonna replace that, and there's a shim that fell out of it. Let's go ahead and take this plate off. Looks like I've replaced one screw over here because there's one different color than the other two. I can't imagine my hands wore the color off of those. But let's take it apart. But I threw out there in my very first cast, because I wasn't used to this reel, I blew it up. Big old bird's nest. I pulled the quick. I knew it had a quick release. So I pulled it off. I pulled the spool out, and I was trying to work the bird's nest out of the line. And I noticed my line, because the wind was drifting the boat, so my jig and pig I had tied on was kind of hopping down a point, you know how they do. And I noticed my line went from moving back towards the boat, or with the boat, to moving to the side of the boat. And I thought, yeah, well, I got a fish on. And I pulled up as much slack as I could with my hands, pulling the line through the side of the reel, and I gripped the line. I had the line wrapped around my hand, and I set the hook, and ended up hand lining it in because the line was so messed up I couldn't even get the spool back in there. And so I hand lined it in, and lo and behold, I had I got to take this cap off because it's got the clip up under there. Yep. Don't forget that, folks. You can't get it apart unless you remove this shaft. So I started hand lining it in and got him to the boat and reached down, picked him up, and those cats were so excited for me. They were cheering. They were like, "Man, you went from an idiot to a hero." He said, I saw you pull up your first cast, you blow a reel up, and then you pull in and it was a haul. So it was about 8.5, 8 3/4. I did not weigh it, but it was one of the prettiest bass I've ever caught in my life. This thing's fairly clean. I'm going to give it a good cleaning just for the hell of it, because I love this reel. And let's see, we got shims. It had the brass, then the flat, and then the wavy, then a flat, and then it had this. I don't know if that's right or not. I couldn't tell you. I have cleaned it before in the past because I noticed that some of the lube in here is stuff I would use back in the day. I probably lubed it up a long time ago. Let's see what kind of drag. Okay, it's got this one has the one, and I have a set of drag washers for this reel. I don't know how I wound up having the right ones, but I do. This must be an older reel. I'm going to look at the reel foot here in just a minute and tell you, because I haven't done many like this, but I actually do have that set of Carbon Tex drags. And there is that. I can tell you the lube I used on this is Super Lube. And this is what I used a lot of back in the day. Before I knew you could buy the big tubs of Penn or the Cows, I used a lot of the Super Lube. And there's nothing wrong with the Super Lube. It's great. It's great stuff. But I'm not going to have to take a whole lot off of this up in here. I'm going to leave it alone. We're going to come over to this side. There is 2 or 3 special nuts that you can put a regular screwdriver on, but don't lose these things, cause good luck ever finding them again. I can't say I've ever seen these things anywhere. So hang on to them. There's 3 exactly alike. On some of the reels, Garcia used a like a little thumb nut that went on there, but this one here just doesn't have that. And I can pull that shaft out also. And really nothing to gain by taking this side loose, but you do kind of have to take it loose. Okay, that was the spring. It goes up under that handle there. Okay, we're all good. Just want to make sure we're not losing anything important there. You have to take this snap ring off to get this gear out, to get this post off. Yeah. It's okay. It's all good. It's a good little reel. And so anyway, back to my story. So I hooked a big bass and pulled him in. Those guys were cheering for me, and I explained to them, we pulled up beside each other. They wanted to see the bass. I didn't keep him out long. I threw him back, but they wanted to see him. And on Smith Mountain Lake, a bass that size is pretty special. I'm not gonna lie. You don't see too many largemouth that get to that size on Smith Mountain Lake. So, and I've got to get this out. All right, my anti-reverse pawl just fell out. I have to remove this clip here, and you got to be careful, because I think this is another thing you can't get another one of. But you can get a hold of it on both sides. Boy, this clip, let's do this. Let's try to be smarter than the average bear here. Let's get a hold of that and pull it off. There we go. And there's the pawl. Okay. Now you can slide that out. And I've got more of these I can look at, but I'm going to make a mental note to myself here. And there is a shim underneath that post, that crankshaft, crank sleeve, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, this is dirty. It needs some love. So we're going to give it some love. This part here, do not take out. I'm just going to tell you, just leave it in there, clean it up good. You can take the hood off and get to it a little bit easier. So let's take the hood off. I'm almost done with this reel, folks. I don't need to do anything to the magnetic side. It has a flipping switch on it. I don't use a flipping switch. I don't flip that much with a bait caster, just saying. And you can flip this up now, and you can get in there and clean any crud you have. See, look where the line has hit that. And I may take a knife and trim that some to get some of that roughness out of it. But look how the line has hit that piece there. So, yeah, that's never a good thing. But the last thing I'm going to pull off of this reel is going to be the pinion. It just slides right off. I'm not going to take that little plastic piece off. It may be brittle. And I can clean this reel just like that. And this can go ahead and be pulled out of there. It's a little stuck. It's got a shim in it. That's interesting. I don't remember that being on any of the others. It's a wavy washer, actually. So this reel is unique. It's like I said, every Garcia you take apart, you're going to find something different. Let's look at the magnetic side of it. Let's see what... I've got it set on 9, so I must have been throwing something that was giving me a lot of spin. Now everything's working good there, and as long as it's working good, I'll spray some WD-40 down on it, and it'll be good. I don't need to mess with that. I will upgrade the bearings in this reel, as I've got some ABEX 7s. I bought them in bulk that fit this reel. It'll get scrubbed get some love. It'll be a hand-me-down to my boys if they want to use it to go fishing. It's going to get a new drag. It's going to get this plastic bushing will get replaced up here in the handle. And I'm going to show you some. I found some new parts available to me that will make shimming this, get going from the bearing to take up the space that bushing takes, a lot freaking easier. So stick around. I'm going to clean this thing up. It might be a couple days. I'll be back. And I'm going to show you a really cool upgrade and cleaning to one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorite Ambassadors. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. And I've learned a few things about this reel. So here's the drag washers that came out of it. You've got this large washer, which this kit has the large washer, but this washer doesn't go in this reel anywhere. And then it's got a small washer, which is in this kit. So once again, Garcia throws me for a loop, because I thought this would be the right one, but it's nowhere near close to the right diameter. It would kind of swim around inside that gear and probably not give me much drag, at least not smooth. So we're going to use one washer out of here, and I'm going to try to keep notes about these reels as I go, because I'm getting stumped by well, Smooth Drag just has a terrible system for their kits. I'm not happy with it, but they're the best there is, so there's nobody else I can really go to either. And so we got this big washer here, so I'm gonna have to order a couple more kits here to replace these two, since I had to use two kits to put one reel together. I don't really care to do that, but you gotta do what you gotta do. What was the other thing? Oh, bearings. My other Ambassador, what is this thing? XLT, I believe it is. XL. This is an Ultramag XL Plus. They took the 4mm by 10mm by 4mm bearing. This reel takes the 4mm by 10mm by 3mm bearing. So I had those in stock. There's nothing wrong with these, but while I got it apart. And then of course I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to go from this plastic bushing to a bearing up here in the handle. And I'm going to have to do a little shim in there. That's okay, because I have a shim kit, and I want to show you all this. I found this. It's on Amazon. It's made for remote control cars. They sell 8mm inside diameter shim kits, which this shaft is 8mm, and so it works fine for the bearings. And you can make up the distance you don't have, and like I said, it's made for RC cars, and I've ordered those in several different inside diameters, so I'll have them. And we'll get into that here in just a little bit. This is going to be a pretty extensive rebuild, to be honest with you, and so I want to get started on it. This reel, I was graduating high school when this reel was made, 1984. Yeah, the 11th month of 84. Okay, I take that back. I was in diesel mechanic school when that reel came out, down in Nashville, Tennessee. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. This reel's always been great luck for me. I've caught some nice fish on this thing, so yeah, I can't complain. I'm going to do something a little different on this. I'm not going to try to pack oil or grease up into all this stuff, but when I get to that point, I'm going to spray it down with something I'm going to try a little differently and see how it does. So first thing to do here is to put this level, well, no, I can't put the level line in until I put this guy in there. And it takes, there's a shim that goes on this post, okay? And this post, you want to oil this, no grease on these posts, okay? You just don't do that. It'll gum it up, and it'll run the reel will run slow, and you're not gonna like it. So, and we got to pop that in place just like that. Now, I am going to put grease in one place. Hang on. Let's rethink this just a hair. Where this peg goes down, or this wire goes through here, this is the release for the, I'm going to put a little bit of grease there, because when I spray this down, I'm not going to be able to get to that. So let's do this again. All right. There we go. And also, I need to put the pinion in before I get too far. I actually might have to pull that back out, put the pinion in. Going to grease that up really good because that rotates on the pinion gear, and I'll go ahead and throw some grease on the pinion gear. I'm going to have it all over me. I'm going to pull this back off. We'll take it off about 5 times, you know, just because. This, you pop this back, and that black bushing, oh my goodness, I could have put it in there without having to take it all the way off, couldn't I? That should ride right there. In fact, I need to just pack it with some grease, I guess, so it'll stay in place till I get the reel built. Okay. Moving right along here, we like to do things 2-3 times here in my shop. You know, can't never get it right the first daggum time, it seems like. Let's put that in place. And we're going to leave all that alone for a minute. This goes all the way around and locks in, and then there's 2 screws that hold this little cover on. I don't think I'm going to need that cover off of there to put it together, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on before I forget to put the screws in, because once you put everything together, you got to take it back apart to get to that, to put the screws in. So let's just go ahead and knock that out. Okay. Now the level line, give it a little bit of oil in places I really can't get to once I put it back together. I see a little bit of cleaning I could do on that. Right up under there. I don't take these things apart, so I'll just do my cleaning as I go on them. Yeah, they're just a bit of a hassle. I got it all cleaned up pretty good. I don't even know if that gear, I guess, will pop off of there, but all right. The gear and the tube can come in, and you know the tube locks in probably like, if I had to, you know, it's only go one way, so that's good. That goes on there like that, and there is, okay, I remember there now. There's a washer that goes on the end of that shaft, a little bitty wavy washer. My memory's coming back to me here. And you push that in, and you got a keeper that goes on there, but I don't think I can put that on until I get this thing together. And so this will go in. I'm going to have to This is a complicated little booger. I guess it's got to go in together. Because it goes in like that. We'll come back to that. This has to go in with that flat side and the 90-degree facing out. This is a very complicated little reel, folks. I ain't gonna lie. And then this will go lock in like this. And it is a booger because it's so small, you know. And this thing here, to complicate matters, has to be in a certain orientation. So you got to kind of rotate it around until it pops into place. Pop into place. Still hasn't popped into place. Jeez. Deep breath, John. Deep breath. I really wish I could show you all this, but my camera is just not conducive to focusing in down here on what I'm doing and while I'm doing it. So why is that not popping into place? Maybe it's because, okay, I see why. We gotta pop this down. Everything's gotta work together, and I ain't getting no work together out of them. Okay. All right, this is in. Let's put this little bitty E-clip out here on the end and hold that together. And I hope this thing don't go flying. If it does, I'm going to get it. Anyway. All right, so with all that said, the next thing's got to go in is the pawl. I'll put some oil down in that. Goodness gracious. The level line pawl is it's different on this reel. It's in a plastic casing and it has to come through. I'm not sure how it has to go through. We're going to try this. Oh my goodness. Come on. Nope, 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 don't fall out. I'm telling you, this is a real booger. Put the paw in first. Maybe that'll work. Not made for little hands or for big hands. These will be a 4-year-old might get his or her hands down in here, but not an adult. Lord have mercy. Ooh, stay. Just no room in these little reels. Just no room. Can't get it to seat for some reason. Just doesn't want to pop in there. Maybe it's seated as good as it's going to go. Let's just try to push this down on there. Okay, there we go. Okay, I got it. All right, so yeah, that's good. And it pops into that level line like that. And do I have it on there wrong? I have it on there wrong. Oh boy. Did I do it wrong on the other? No way. Because I did just like the one I just did the other day. So gosh almighty. Everything's going to fall apart on me. See, when you push the button to cast, it's supposed to. I got it on there wrong. So all this got to come back off. Wow. I told you, it's a booger. It's a real booger. I guess this is on backwards. So I got to take that snap ring back off. I don't have a schematic on this reel. I couldn't find one. So maybe somebody will feel sorry for me and send me one. I don't know. So this is, oh gosh almighty. This has got to come off. And I guess I just had it flat backwards, so it got to go like that. I don't know. I still feel like I had it right, but I mean, I just did one. Lord have mercy. How did it go? I had it like that, so it's got to go like this. It only go. I got to be right the second time. Okay, maybe this is right. It's kind of looking more and more familiar. That looks right. What all did we lose off of it while we had it upside down? Oh my goodness. Still not locked in there good. It's got to go all the way around, I believe. Oh, it's up on the... Oh boy. There we go. Now it's in there. Okay. This is special. I'm not gonna lie. This one will try your patience. Oh my goodness. Please don't fly. All right. Let's try again. So now I got to put that whole daggum thing back in there again. I don't know. I think last time it was easier to put the paw in separately. I'm going out this weekend. I'm going to find me a smaller pair of, and a longer set of needle nose pliers. I think they'll just work better. Oh gosh. You got to reach through there. I'm not lying, folks. It's something. Might be able to get it right there. Of course, the problem is everything wants to move on me, and I can't get it this day. And let's just try my big old fingers. No, I give up on the pliers. I don't have any control over them really. Once I get it up in there. Maybe the forceps, we'll try those. Problem is the forceps, if they slip, you're going to lose whatever you got hooked in there. It's going to squeeze down on it and make it fly, and that's never a good thing. Okay, we got that. All right, back to where we were. Now let's just see if this, goodness gracious, it's falling apart. How does it fall apart when I can't get it back together? Okay, let's see what happens here. That is correct. Okay, we're good. Yes, that is good. Okay. Back on track. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of my forceps. Whew. Okay. I'm not going to put any grease on the bearing. Listen to me. Bearing. The gear to the level line. Okay, it does get a drag washer down in here. I'm going to try to wake up here a little bit and get this less confusing for everybody. Okay. Let's give this thing a little cowls. And it goes down there. You want to make sure that drag washer doesn't interfere with that gear. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and grease the gear all the way around. The drive gear, not the level line gear. If you grease that level line gear, it will slow the reel down pretty much. Just slow it down. I don't know what it is, but I stay away from that, to be honest with you. Okay. And this can go on there. The only thing I don't like about that particular drag washer is it's a lot thicker than this one, and guess what? I am not going to use it. And I'll tell you why. It's going to cause a really, really horrible gear mesh. And because of that, it's probably going to strip that level line gear. So I'm going back with the gears, the drag washer that came out of it down here. And yes, that's a much better mesh there. Okay. All right. So I can put that back in its kit. I think it was actually in, yeah, it was in this. I can look, I've got a couple more over, I think. It ain't easy, folks. Sometimes this hobby can drive you nuts. A little bit of cow's grease on this only drag washer it's actually going to get now, besides the factory washer was in there. And so it is what it is. That goes in like that. Got a press plate that goes in there. It's keyed. Okay. And guess what I didn't do? Oh boy. Oh, it's got to come back off. I forgot to drop the anti-reverse dog, so this is really something. Really, really something. There's no way to slip it back over top of this without removing the, but I think I can leave, at least leave the, every time I take that snap ring off, I'm taking a big old chance on it. I believe I can get it back together now. That goes on right there. Oh my goodness. It goes in. Oh, that ain't right. It's wrong. It's backwards. Left hand reel, John. Left hand reel. But what makes that thing? Okay, I got it. All right, folks. Sometimes it's like timing. It's like putting a time belt on a car. You got to do this and you got to do that to get it right. And I didn't have it all squared away. Now we're good. We can put it together now. Okay, well, here we go. That can go up against there. I believe I'm getting real close to being done with this side of the reel. It had a shim, but to me that don't look right. I don't know. It just doesn't look right. I think it should have the cuff washer first, and then we'll do a flat washer, and the shim, and the flat washer. And then we're going to do a bearing. So we got to get the mics out and do a little measuring here and see where we wind up at. And I zeroed out the mics. This plastic bushing is 4.79, and this bearing is 3.91. So let's open up my new bag of tricks here. You can see there's a whole bunch of different packets in here, different thicknesses. I do have these other shims, but I think I'm gonna try some of these. Let's get a couple of them out here. After working on an engine today, my fingers are just not in the mood to work with this stuff. Let's get these two measuring. Gonna be a little tough to measure those that stack together. That was, I want to say that was that's 4.59. I want to say that was 4.79 with the bushing. 4.79, so I need to go to 4.79. Let's grab one. I've got one of those. Let's get one of these. Maybe two of them, since that's what wants to come out. I'm measuring in metric millimeters. 4.89. Let's take the thinnest one out. I think it's that one. Let's see what that is. Well, no, that won't. Oh, it's stuck on there. Oh my goodness. Something else I have to fight with my fingers to get. I think I'm gonna go with the bigger number, the 4.89 versus the 4.79. I think I'll be fine. Oh no, I can't keep it together to measure it. No, that's not right. It jumped way up there all of a sudden. 4.89. Okay, we're good. That's what I'm going with. All right. All right. Yeah, because I'm really weird about double checking, triple checking on measurements. See, one of them fell out. I don't know where it went. Oh my goodness. Let's try one of these. It had three shims in it. Sometimes you got to ask yourself, is it really worth all this aggravation? Oh, that came out too small. Let's just throw one big one in there. And oh boy, I need smaller fingers. This is what I need, but I got to go with what God gave me, and it's very difficult. If I didn't have this measuring tool on here I use for my reloading, it might be a little simpler, so I'll take part of the blame for that. Okay, there we go. Now, let's get them all out of there without losing them this time, and then I won't have to worry about, okay, we're good. Put the shims in there. They'll go down against the flat washer, all three of them. And maybe actually I might want to put one to the outside. Let's see how this is going to ride against it. Yeah, we'll put one of them to the outside if I can get them back off. Deep breath, John, deep breath. They are so tiny that they are very, very difficult to get a hold of. All right, so we'll put the bearing in there and then one of the shims to the outside, and it will ride the inner race against the drag. Okay. Have I lost everybody by now? Because I'm ready to run myself. Let's put my little shim packs back up. I'm not wanting to look at those again anytime soon. They're kind of a headache. But they're a one-time. Once you do it, it's done. It's not the end of the world. So, all right, let's put the top on it. We'll put a little bit of grease down in those 3 screw holes. Set the top on there. Now that bearing don't want to go. That's not great. This is a modification that may not happen, folks. The bearing doesn't seem to want to fit. Maybe I'm just not holding my mouth right today. It seems like I'm struggling, you know, with everything here. It's definitely stuck. Oh my goodness. Really? Yeah, I don't think that bearing's going to work. Let's put it through to from the outside. Maybe that'll work. Yep, okay. Now we got it. The bearing doesn't, it probably needs to be filed out, and I'm not going to do all that, so we'll put the bearing, we'll put it in there from the top. Okay. Yeah, this has been an interesting one, man. I'm not going to lie. Why is it not wanting to go together? There you go. All right. And we'll go ahead and put that shim on there before I forget about it. All right, 3 screws. I won't put the black, I got 1 black screw and 2 silver screws. I'm gonna put the black screw down to the bottom, put the 2 silver screws at the top. Apparently, last time I had a part, must have dropped a screw on the floor, you know, because that's what I do around here. I spend more time down on the floor scrounging for parts than I do up here at the bench working, sometimes it seems. I'm gonna go ahead and put this together before it all falls apart. You know, it's kind of like modifying a car. You know, one modification leads to another, so they can get aggravating after a little bit. And yeah, I appreciate y'all sticking by me on this mess. I'm going to put the shaft in it, and we'll get it started. And then we'll give it some oil. But modifications are what they are. You know, you're either gonna make it better or indifferent. So that goes up in there, and you got this wavy washer, and there is an E-clip. It goes up in there. I'm looking at this thing wondering, where does that other E-clip go before I throw it all the way together here? What am I missing? Oh, it goes here. That E-clip there is for the handle, so we're good. And this one here, it's just very aggravating. All right, there we go. That's where it went. Then you've got the two shims that go in there. Always double check, you know. I mean, I built hundreds and hundreds of reels, and honestly, I still don't always get it right. And I didn't do what I said I was going to do on that plate, but I guess it'll be okay. I was going to lube it a different way, but I think it'll be all right. Put some grease on the handle shaft. Thread this down. Remember, this is a left-hand reel, so it's going to be opposite threads. And you get your washer on there. Handle washer. Handle. E-clip. And then your handle nut. Alright. And your retainer. I'm about to turn it just a little bit. Screw. I am partial to these acorn nuts than I am to the nuts that take the little cap over. They're a little bit easier to get lined up. You can just put the nut on there, put the retainer on it, and then adjust the nut around till the hole lines up into the handle. And it still ain't going in there for some reason. Why is it not going in there? Did I miss it? It's still not right. There we go. It's funny, that thing's got to be just perfectly aligned right there. Okay, now spool. On the non-drive side of the spool, we'll take both of those shims. That's how they came off. I'm putting them back the way I found it. And it's going to get a bearing. Okay. It gets this cover plate. The cover plate has a little small, very shallow boss on it. It goes up, and then your retainer clip, just like that. And over here you get this wavy washer, goes down in there, then the bearing, and then the drive, and the drive goes on there. Yeah, with the little ears pointing up towards you. And then you want to stagger your gap in the clip from the gap in the spool there, like that. And then that can go on. Now on this side here, I've got this pin came out, this spool release. It had this, and I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on this thing to help hold it in there. That goes on there like that, and best I can tell, it just rides up against the plate. We'll give it a little bit of grease here and there. So it's like that. And then you got these 3 nuts, the slots. Well, I guess they're slide on both sides, so it doesn't matter. Get one of them in there and get it started. This one goes way down in there. Maybe. There it goes. All right. So I replaced that bushing. That's just a spare part now. This goes in like, how's it going there? Gotta use my memory here a little bit. So it goes in like that, but that ain't right. No. There it goes. That pops on there like that. I've got oil all over this reel, but that's okay, I guess. Let me put it back over here on. I know I'm whispering because I'm just sitting here thinking, man, this was a real booger. It wasn't that much fun, to be honest with you, but I did get to upgrade it. So let's seat the drag. It actually is not as smooth cranking as it was before I started. Oh, there's why. The spool tensioner was way too tight. Is way too tight. There we go. Let's cut these off and get them out of the way before I knock them on the floor. I got my line covered up with tape. I think y'all saw me do that in the first part of the video, but we'll seat that drag really, really good. Well, that's the tape dragging, folks. So, no harm, no foul. I got the mag all the way off. It'll loosen up. So that's how the flipping thing works. You can cut that off. It goes back to a regular. And see that when you cast on these reels, this becomes free. And as you crank, it rotates that back in place and it pushes it over to one side or the other and locks it in, locks the level line in. I really like that feature on this reel. Well, anyway, folks, there it is. I botched the video a little bit. I'm going to debate whether I even want to put this one up for you or not. It's real around here. I don't try to fake it. You know, I just put them together like I have them, you know, and Still got some good bearings there. Hell, they might be better than what I put in. Those are Bocas I put in there, by the way. And I don't know. I'm okay with it. I'll fish it. This is John, Vintage Fisherman. I appreciate you watching. You know, like the video if you enjoyed my constant trying to take things apart, put them back together, because I missed 3 or 4 things. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see me do that again. And thanks for watching. Talk to you later.